Alright, I actually remembered to hit record this time. Pulling the steering wheel off so that I can replace this blinker stalk switch. I already took the airbag out. Forgot to hit the record button, but two little screws on the back of the steering wheel, T27 Torx. There's not much clearance, so I used a 1/4 inch ratcheting gear wrench and a T27 bit driver bit. Put the bit in there and then used the wrench to loosen the screws. Now there's a H10 hex bolt here in the middle of the wheel, and I've got this electric impact hooked up to my truck. So we'll see if it will pull the this bolt out. Bingo. These things are awesome. If you're like me and you have a really crappy air compressor, or if you don't have any air compressor at all, these things are like 30 bucks or something. They're real cheap and gobs of torque. Just plug it into a 12 volt outlet. I can't use the one in the car because I've got the battery disconnected due to fiddling with the airbag. But yeah, if you got a second vehicle, just plug it into that. The cord is long enough. I don't know if you can see that from here, but it's stretched all the way over to my truck on the other bay in the garage. And still plenty usable. So yeah, now the steering wheel just pops off. There's that H10 bolt. So we'll just set that down here. The guide that I read mentioned that there'd probably be a lot of this kind of carbon dust, so just wipe all that out. And said there'd probably be more on the back of the wheel, which, let's see. That back of the wheel actually looks pretty clean, so it's probably fine. There's those little Torx bits I was talking about. They stay up in the wheel behind this material. So yeah, I'm gonna go get some probably some alcohol and some towels and clean this off, and then we'll be back. I don't see any need to film that, so I'll go ahead and turn the camera off. Okay, I got the this all cleaned up, all that dust off of there. And the next step is to remove these 3 screws. Alright, now this plate comes off. And the guide I read said, to go ahead and like disconnect this wire so that you could set this off. But I mean, personally, if you're just replacing your blinker stalk like I am, I don't really see any reason to do that. It seems fine right here. There's 3 screws. How easy you can tell from there, but there's a screw here at the bottom, right here on the right side, and one up at the top that holds this in. So as soon as my replacement comes in, I'll take this out. For the time being, I'm going to leave it there as a reference. The new blinker stalk came in today. It was earlier than expected. It looks pretty good. You can focus. If you could see, the markings are still pretty solid. Cruise stalk markings look good. There was a bunch of rust here, which I sanded down. I'm out of rust converter primer, so this will have to wait until I get some more of that. But all the wires and such look good, so hopefully this will work. Went ahead and jacked the car up. Got it pretty high off the ground to make room so I can get under there to release the speedometer cable from the transmission so that I can take the cluster out. I kind of pulled on it some yesterday. It came out just a little bit, but I didn't want to pull on it too much until I had the speedometer cable disconnected. This piece of plastic here and this one are both broken. I guess I could tell somebody's been in here before, so I guess somebody probably was a little careless and pulled on it by those corners and broke it. Luckily I do have both pieces. This is the smaller one. The bigger one is in the glove box. And I think I can probably repair that. Certainly going to try anyway. I don't think I'm really going to worry about the cracks right now. They're ugly, but they're not really hurting anything. So yeah, the next thing will be to climb under there, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust the vacuum modulator again, and then okay, so I'm up under the car. It's really difficult to film in here, but this is going to be awful. This thing here, there we go, that big thick hose looking deal, that little bolt is the speedometer cable, at least from what I can tell. So I'm going to take that loose, and there's just absolutely no way I can film this, so I'm going to set the camera down, but we'll report back momentarily. Okay, so I got to that bolt using a really long wobble extension, the one that holds the speedo cable in. I can tell this cable's been replaced, and whoever replaced it did not exactly follow the guide, because none of the little areas where it's supposed to be attached are actually attached. That meaning like the little support braces and whatnot to keep the cable from just flopping about like mad. Yeah. There we go. So now the speedometer cable is free. There's a bunch of junk on the end of it I probably need to clean up. I think this zip tie is probably loose enough where it'll just kind of scoot. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Okay. So, gross. So while I'm under here, I think I'm also going to go ahead and adjust this. I don't know how well this will pick up on the camera either, but if you can see that that little red deal with the black cap on it, that's the vacuum modulator. So I have to pull the cap off, which I've got large hands, so probably that's going to be just done with a screwdriver. Come on, you dinky little tripod. There we go. Alright, so let's pop this cap off. go. There went the cap somewhere. And then we will slide this little T out, which I've already lost once because it is real small. There we go. I wish I could show you guys what I'm actually doing, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, well, this is the little piece that's now fallen out again. I may have reached the end of the adjustment travel. I need to get I need to check the pressure on the vacuum to the transmission, which I'm also going to do while I'm doing all this other stuff. But to be honest, I wanted to just be lazy and do that later. But yeah, given that thing doesn't really want to move anymore, I guess I will plan on doing that sooner rather than later. These are not fun to work on if you don't have a lift. Okay, well, the good news is that the speedometer cable is loose, so the cluster should be able to be removed now. Say that. Doesn't really want to come out. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so I guess now I'll have to, let's see. You know what? It's late. I think this is a good stopping point. I'll figure out how to get this cable disconnected. So, I know I said I was going to do this later, but I'm sort of impatient. So, I fiddled around with it and eventually got it loose. I don't know if you can see, but there's the speedometer cable. It's got this kind of ring around it that where it screws into the back. So now there's just like a million wires to fiddle with to get the cluster out. Look at this. This is just nightmarish. This is all the wiring that was holding. I mean, look at all these plugs and junk. This is the craziest cluster I've ever messed with. Cluster is definitely the right word for this.